The U.S. Senate floor turned into an emotional battlefield last night, a place where words hit harder than weapons, and truth became the sharpest sword. It was Louisiana Senator John Kennedy who, with his trademark blend of wit, conviction, and fiery resolve, took the stand against Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer in what many are calling one of the most intense political showdowns of the year. The clash wasn't just a debate, it was a moment that reminded America what raw, unfiltered leadership looks like. It began with a tense silence as Schumer presented his latest proposal, a sweeping piece of legislation that promised to address several national issues but carried a cost that raised eyebrows across the aisle. Kennedy, seated with his trademark calm yet piercing gaze, waited for his turn. When he rose, the entire chamber shifted. The usually composed senator looked both determined and disappointed, a man burdened by the weight of his words. "Mr. Schumer," he began slowly, "you can wrap a bad idea in good intentions, but that doesn't make it any less bad." The line hit like a thunderclap, echoing through the chamber. Schumer tried to respond, his tone defensive, arguing that Kennedy was missing the human side of the bill. But Kennedy wasn't backing down. He stepped forward, voice rising with conviction, each word measured yet filled with raw energy. "The American people are not numbers on your chart. They are mothers, fathers, workers, dreamers. They are the backbone of this nation. And they deserve honesty, not political theater." Cameras flashed, aides froze, and even Kennedy's critics couldn't deny the power of his delivery. As the debate deepened, Schumer attempted to counter with statistics and data, but Kennedy pushed back with something stronger: stories, real ones. He spoke of small-town business owners struggling under the weight of bureaucracy, of veterans lost in the maze of policy red tape, of families who had lost faith in leaders who spoke from podiums but never listened from their hearts. The chamber, usually filled with chatter and whispers, fell utterly silent. This wasn't just politics, it was passion colliding with power. Then came the moment that defined the night. Schumer accused Kennedy of grandstanding, suggesting that his words were meant more for headlines than for progress. Kennedy didn't flinch. He looked directly at Schumer and said, "Sir, I didn't come here to make headlines. I came here to make a difference, because where I come from, when something's wrong, you don't sit quiet, you stand up and you fix it." The crowd gasped. Even some Democrats couldn't hide the respect for the sheer authenticity behind those words. The exchange raged on for nearly an hour, a back and forth of intellect, ideals, and intensity. But while Schumer relied on political rhetoric, Kennedy spoke with the clarity that came from lived experience. By the end, it wasn't just about who won the argument, it was about who connected with the American spirit. And in that moment, Kennedy's voice resonated far beyond the Senate floor. As reporters rushed to file their stories and social media lit up with clips of the confrontation, one thing became clear: this wasn't just another Senate debate. It was a symbol of something deeper, a cry for leadership that remembers its purpose. Kennedy's performance wasn't polished for cameras, it was raw, emotional, and deeply human. It reminded viewers that conviction still has a place in Washington, that courage still exists beneath the marble and microphones. By the end of the session, Schumer exited the floor visibly shaken, his usual confidence stalled by the emotional force he had just faced. Kennedy, meanwhile, didn't celebrate or gloat. He simply gathered his notes, nodded to his colleagues, and walked out quietly, the kind of quiet that follows a storm. Across the nation, Americans replayed the exchange, feeling a spark of something that politics rarely ignites anymore: a hope. Hope that truth can still triumph over spin. Hope that one voice, grounded in honesty, can cut through the noise. In the end, this fiery clash wasn't just about policy or party lines. It was about principle. It was about one man standing firm in a place where compromise often means surrendering values. Senator Kennedy reminded everyone watching that leadership isn't about who speaks the loudest, it's about who speaks the truth. And as the echoes of that confrontation fade, one message remains seared into the hearts of millions: in a world of rehearsed politics, authenticity is still the most powerful weapon of all.